There is a number that should terrify every homeowner in America right now,
How are we going to pay for this?
and almost nobody is talking about it. The average household spends over $2,000 a year on electricity. Over 30 years, that is $60,000 handed to a utility company for the privilege of keeping your lights on. And that number only goes up. But right now, scattered across rural land in Texas, Montana, Oklahoma, and a dozen other states, there are barndominiums that pay that bill exactly $0. Not reduced, not offset, zero, forever. And the families living in them are not living some extreme survivalist lifestyle in a bunker. They are living in some of the most beautiful homes I have ever seen on this channel. Full kitchens, hot showers, air conditioning, internet, all of it completely disconnected from the grid. Today, I am going to show you 6 of those homes. 6 completely different off-grid barndominium designs, each one solving the energy independence problem in a different way. And design number 4 is the one that made me stop and rewatch the footage twice, because it does something with its roofline that I have never seen explained anywhere else in this space. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what it takes to build a barndominium that never sends another dollar to a power company again, and whether that is realistic for your land, your budget, and your life. Let's go. Before we get into the 6 designs, I need to set the baseline, because most content about off-grid living either oversells it as effortless or undersells it as impossible. And the truth is, neither. Going off-grid with a barndominium means generating 100% of your electricity on-site, almost always through solar panels, and storing enough of that energy in batteries to get you through nights, cloudy days, and winter months when solar production drops. It also typically means your own water source, usually a well, and your own waste management, usually a septic system. None of that is new. Rural properties have used wells and septic systems for a century. What has changed dramatically just in the last few years is the cost and capacity of solar panels and battery storage. Solar panel costs have dropped by more than 60% over the last decade. Battery storage technology that used to cost $40,000 for a whole home system now runs $12,000 to $15,000 for the same capacity. That shift is the entire reason this video exists right now, and would not have made sense 5 years ago. The barndominium itself is uniquely suited to this shift for one simple structural reason that nobody else in this space is talking about. And it is the reason we are starting with design number 1. Design number 1 is what I call the solar roof barn. And it starts with the single slope roofline that this channel has covered before, but applied here for an entirely different reason. A single slope roof on a barndominium creates one large, unbroken south-facing roof plane at a steep enough angle to be the ideal solar panel mounting surface in the entire residential construction industry. No valleys, no hips, no dormers breaking up the surface. Just one continuous plane oriented directly at the sun. On a typical 2,400 square foot single slope barndominium, that south-facing roof plane can hold a 40 to 50 kilowatt solar array, enough to power the entire home, plus charge an electric vehicle, plus run a workshop, with surplus left over on most days. The metal roofing material itself is the other half of this advantage. Standing seam metal roofing allows solar panels to be clamped directly to the seams without a single roof penetration. No drilling, no flashing, no leak points. A traditional shingle roof requires hundreds of penetrations for the same array, and every one of those penetrations is a potential leak for the next 20 years. The barndominium's metal roof was never designed with solar in mind, but it turned out to be the perfect solar mounting platform almost by accident. This is the foundational design, and every other design on this list builds on top of what design 1 establishes. Design number 2 takes that same solar foundation and adds the piece that most off-grid videos completely ignore: battery and mechanical room design. This is the H-shaped off-grid barndominium, and the innovation here is not the solar array, it is where the equipment lives. In a typical off-grid build, the battery bank, inverters, and charge controllers get crammed into a closet or a corner of the garage, and that is a mistake, because batteries perform best and last longest in temperature-controlled environments, and a hot Texas garage is the worst possible place for a $40,000 battery bank. The H-shape's central connecting spine The same feature we covered in the H-shaped video for family living gets repurposed here as a dedicated, insulated, climate-controlled mechanical zone. The battery bank, inverters, and water filtration system all live in this central section, protected from temperature extremes that would otherwise cut their lifespan in half. Both wings of the H carry solar arrays on their roofs, feeding into the centrally located battery system. The result is a home where the energy infrastructure is treated with the same architectural seriousness as the kitchen or the master suite, because in an off-grid home, it is just as essential. Design number 3 is the wind and solar hybrid. And this is for a specific kind of property. If your land is in an area with consistent wind, particularly the open plains of West Texas, Oklahoma, or Kansas, relying on solar alone creates a problem. Solar production drops dramatically in winter, when days are shorter and the sun sits lower in the sky, exactly when heating demand is highest. A small residential wind turbine, in the 30 to 50-foot height range, can generate meaningful power, specifically during those low solar winter months, when wind tends to be strongest. This design pairs a single-slope solar roof with a freestanding wind turbine, positioned away from the home, far enough that turbine noise and shadow flicker are not an issue, but close enough for efficient cabling. The Barndominium's open rural siting, the same characteristic that makes it isolated from neighbors, is exactly what makes a wind turbine viable without the noise complaints that kill wind projects in suburban settings. This hybrid approach can reduce battery storage requirements by 30%, because the wind picks up generation exactly when solar drops off.
Now we get to design number 4, the one I told you about at the start. This is the courtyard solar barndominium, and it solves a problem that I genuinely have not seen addressed anywhere else. Every solar array loses efficiency as panels heat up. For every degree above 77 Fahrenheit, panel output drops by about 0.5%. And on a Texas summer roof, that can mean panels running 15 to 20 degrees hotter than ambient air, which translates to a real efficiency loss during the exact months you need power most for air conditioning. Design 4 takes the U-shaped or H-shaped courtyard barndominium and uses the courtyard itself as part of the cooling system for the solar array. The roof sections facing into the courtyard are angled to catch the cooler, shaded microclimate that courtyard buildings create, the same passive cooling effect we covered in the courtyard videos. But here it is keeping the solar panels themselves several degrees cooler than panels on an exposed roof, which directly translates into measurably higher energy production during peak summer demand. The building's own geometry, designed originally for family living and passive cooling, turns out to also be quietly improving its own power generation. Nobody designs for this intentionally yet, but it is happening, and the data is starting to show it.
Design number 5 is the simplest on this list, and the one most people overlook because it does not look high-tech. It is the oversized roof overhang design. By extending the roof overhangs on a single slope or gable barndominium by an additional 4 to 6 feet beyond standard, you create deep shade across the south and west-facing walls and windows during summer, while still allowing low winter sun to reach those same windows for passive heating. This single design choice can reduce cooling load by 15 to 25%, which means a smaller, cheaper solar and battery system can fully power the home. In off-grid design, the cheapest kilowatt is the one you never need to generate in the first place. This design wins not by adding technology, but by reducing the home's appetite for power before a single solar panel goes on the roof. And design number 6 is the one built for total independence, the rainwater and solar integrated barndominium. This design adds a large capacity rainwater collection system fed directly from the metal roof's gutters into underground cisterns, paired with the same single slope solar foundation from design 1. Metal roofing is one of the cleanest rainwater collection surfaces available, none of the chemical treatments found on asphalt shingles. A 2,400 square foot roof in a region with 30 inches of annual rainfall can collect over 40,000 gallons of water per year, enough for a family's full domestic water needs with proper filtration, eliminating dependence on a well pump, which is itself one of the largest electrical loads in a typical off-grid home. When you remove well pump demand from your electrical system entirely, your solar and battery sizing requirements drop significantly. This is the design for families who want to answer the question, what happens if everything goes down? With one word: nothing. Here is the honest summary. Going off-grid with a barndominium in 2026 typically adds $40,000 to $70,000 to your build cost for solar, battery storage, well, and septic systems combined, but eliminates a $60,000 lifetime electricity expense and insulates your family from utility price increases and grid outages permanently. The barndominium's structural advantages, the single-slope roof, the metal roofing material, the courtyard geometry, the clear span construction, were never designed with energy independence in mind, but they happen to be close to ideal for it. Drop a comment right now. I want to know two things. Which of these 6 designs fits your land and your climate best? And are you currently considering going off-grid, or are you on the grid and wondering if it is worth the switch? I read every comment and respond personally. Like this if it gave you something real. Share it with anyone who has ever complained about their power bill. Subscribe for more content that goes this deep. See you in the next one.